The year is 2010, and a young, tricky, and smiley Brazilian is setting his nation alight with dazzling performances. His value is already a known commodity, as, for example, his club Santos sells a 5% share of his future sale to an investment group worth over $3 million. In 2011, Neymar scores the best goal of the year and earns the Puskas award, truly embodying the Brazilian football mantra, play beautiful. It's 2013 now, and Neymar joins Barcelona in an epic transfer saga, sending shockwaves all across the sport. Neymar makes up 1/3 of one of the most dangerous attacks in the sport's history, MSN. Messi, Suarez, and of course Neymar. Neymar is highly successful with this team, even winning the treble, all 3 major trophies in a single season, even though the managerial genius Pep Guardiola had left not too long ago. At this stage, it seems as if the status of world's best player is inevitable for Neymar. Averaging just under a goal contribution a game while at Barca, it feels as if Neymar will either surpass Messi and Ronaldo, or, once they start to decline, the label will be his. In 2017, the world of soccer, or football, is shocked and ultimately changes forever. Neymar is joining Paris Saint-Germain. Not only this, but it's for over $200 million. Their critics will say it's only for the money, but PSG is an opportunity for Neymar to prove himself without Messi. Sooner than later, wonder kid Kylian Mbappe joins him at the club. Unfortunately for Neymar, PSG never really works out in his favor. While there are memorable moments, gaudy statistics, and even a brief reunion with Messi, injuries and failure to win the Champions League, Europe's top competition, ultimately prevent Neymar from becoming the unanimous best player in the world, and ironically, he's now under Mbappe's shadow. Now, it's 2023, and Neymar is on his way to Al Hilal in the Saudi Pro League, joining a slew of other high-profile players in mega money deals. He's 31, and the question is, what is success? In order to answer this question, I have to welcome you to my English class, as we need to read and analyze Neymar's career in 3 different ways. Here is where you will find much of what's the current narrative on Neymar, and ultimately it's that his career is a failure. As briefly mentioned in the video, Neymar has never won the balondor, which is given to the best player in the world for the calendar year, and that is what decides the best player, at least in a official way. Neymar has never won that. Once again, he never led PSG to a Champions League trophy. He never did what he sought out to do when he moved there, which one wonders if you can place the blame solely on him, but more on that in just a bit. Nonetheless, the Saudi Pro League has hardly any prestige, at least right now, and this is why many commentators are saying his career is effectively over. He might as well have retired, basically. At the end of the day, though, I think this approach, or reading, whatever you want to call it, is ultimately too shallow, and it's obvious why it's just part 1. To start this part, we need to take a step back, even before Neymar's playing career at Santos, and try to understand where he's come from. He didn't necessarily grow up with the best means, if you will. It's probably quite obvious, him being from Brazil, which isn't necessarily the poorest country in the world, but definitely still has its scars from colonialism, and it's not necessarily this huge industrial capitalist powerhouse. It's definitely got its own very prevalent political issues. Anyways, Neymar's family essentially lived off of his income that he was bringing in even from an early age. In fact, Neymar's family bought their first property from the youthful success that he had, before he was even considered a legal US adult. In other words, he's always provided, financially speaking, for his family. Now, as a leftist, I feel somewhat conflicted saying this, and this will probably be more relevant in part 3, but the question is, can you really blame him for taking the Saudi money? Can you blame him for continuously seeking generational wealth for his family and also friends, rather than half-heartedly virtue signaling some sort of football purist's vision for what Neymar should be? Now, I know Neymar would have more than enough money if he stayed at Barcelona or PSG, but these arguments simply don't work. They're just whataboutisms. In this world, nothing is for certain. You have to act based off of certainty, what's on the table and actually in front of you. Neymar signs this deal, and 2 weeks from now he gets injured and can never play again. He still secured this money versus, being stuck at lame PSG. And so the previous part ultimately leads up to what I want to claim here. I don't think that there's any moral arguments for Neymar being unsuccessful. In the financial sense, he's clearly not unsuccessful. But even in a sense pertaining to accolades or trophies, who are we to claim anything here? It's most definitely unfair to say Neymar ought to have stayed in Europe to try harder and win trophies we deem noteworthy. So no moral argument here. Yes, it might be sad for the football purist that Neymar didn't reach the same heights as Messi or Ronaldo, but that's besides the point. In the end, success, especially in this context, is extremely subjective. Neymar may have just wanted to ensure security for his family. We'll never know his intentions for his career, and if he did want to become the best, then yes, he hasn't done so quite yet, but then we have to ask questions about pretty much every single other athlete ever. So what makes Neymar special in this case? Essentially, every other athlete, at least wonder kids, would be considered failures, even pertaining to chess or, prodigy academics. In our capitalist system, Neymar has essentially defeated it. Right now he could retire, never play football again, and never have to work a day in his life again. Keeping in mind that the odds were stacked against him since birth. He wasn't Elon Musk's son. His road to this defeating capitalism path was stacked against him. We all too often think about what we feel others should be doing rather than reflecting on ourselves, which I think is a great message from wanting to critique Neymar's career. His career, in the end, is a perfect example of how capitalism makes us seek material successes. And who knows, maybe in another world he did become the best player of all time, even playing beautifully. Peace and love.